Hey guys, welcome to my live stream. Welcome to my cactus live stream, cactus seedlings. We've been sowing out a lot of different cacti, Lubivia, Sörensia, Echinopsis, a few columnars in between, like hybrids with them to get good flowers. Yeah, and I'm back. Welcome to my live stream, everyone. Great to be back. I've already had a long day today. Kami woke me up. Hey, good morning. Great to see you. Hope you're all right. Yeah, I've been awake since 5 in the morning. Because Kami always wakes up early right now. She's getting older. You know how when you're getting older, you wake up earlier. So Kami was up at 5 and I was up with her. So I thought about maybe starting the live stream early. But yeah, had a lot of stuff to do, so it just fit. It was perfect. And yeah, I have the whole desk full of seedlings. And I have a lot of other stuff that I want to show you. Like here's a box full of fruit that I have, where we might, maybe we find something that we can grow on the live stream. Yeah, wanted to talk about the book orders a little bit in the last couple of weeks. I've been booking DHL labels and booking DHL pickups for the supporters that got books. And yeah, just wanted to say that I have some books that I brought. We need to sign them. We need to number them. And I will do that later sometime, maybe today or maybe tomorrow. But in one of the next live streams, we will do the books, just signing. Because a lot of people asked for signed books. And of course, I want to do that. So yeah. But for now, let me show you what I got for the live stream. Here's that thing. So today I have a different kind of plastic tub. The one that I had before, it was just too big. When I was trying to do something here, it was like I had my head in the bucket, and I was constantly hearing the echo by just talking into the bucket. And this one's a little bit, it's not so tall, so I can put the cactus seedlings in there and I can spray them. We can repot in this thing and it still gives you visibility. I can still show you the seedlings and I'm really happy about that. Sometimes you have to experiment a few times, experiment with different sizes. Yeah, and I think this is perfect. If it isn't, maybe we are cutting something out. Someone recommended that yesterday, and we could do it. But for now, I feel like this could work, So let's get started. I would propose I would show you some vegetable stuff that I have grown. I brought some of the seedlings that have germinated here. I have a big tub beside me. So let me show you. So this is the update. First update in a while. So this is our pumpkin that I've planted. I've never seen a pumpkin like a plant before. And this thing will come into a big pot. I have already ordered them, and the moment they are here, I will show them. We will repot it together. But for now, this is looking good. This is going to be a huge thing. And I wanted to show you the strawberries that I planted. Check this out. We are having the first strawberries, I think. At least I hope it's the strawberries, You could always have weeds in that soil. But I believe they should have, I hope that they have sterilized it somehow. But yeah, first strawberries. These are white strawberries. First ones that I've sown out. I have never sown out strawberries before. Yeah, and I have them in that thing here. Yeah, thank you, Robert. I will look into it. This is probably going to be a huge plant. And I'm not sure if I'm ready for it. Okay, so let me just put this aside. Okay, I'm back. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Great to have you, everyone. Thank you for being part of this. That's great to hear. Yeah, we will see how it goes with the strawberries. I've never grown any of them before. I will do my best, you know. I'm sure this will be great. A fun thing to do on the live stream. Every now and then I will bring the white strawberries into the live stream. That could be great. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, yeah, that was the vegetable stuff for now. Let's go through the seedlings a little bit, okay? Yeah, this needs to very soon be repotted again, singled out. Quite a lot of them in one pot. Never again will I sow out so many. So I just want to have a closer look at everything. Want to see if there are any issues, some root problems. Here's a big piece of wood that I want to take out. Just trying to have a clean top layer of soil. Because if the soil is clean, it can't give so much fuel to infections. It can't really cause these big infections anymore when there's barely any organic stuff lying around. Like overly organic, like these big pieces that just take forever to dry out. The smaller ones, like this is very fine soil, and that's not an issue. Okay, so I will spray them now, just watering them a little. But they look okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, cool plants. I'm sure you can, like, you just have to know when to water and when not to water. But we're talking a lot about it on the live stream. I'm sure this will help you. If you have questions, just ask. I'm always happy to help, always open for questions during the live stream. But yeah. And they have a beautiful flower very often. Like the Bolivian species, really nice big flowers. That could be great. If you have seen the flower once, you will never forget it. It's a really impressive kind of sight. Okay. Yeah, these are a little bit smaller. First thing that I want to do is take out this thing here that's rolling around. Let's see. We'll use this for trash. Okay. All these bigger chunks, I don't want to have them in the soil. Okay. Yeah. Apart from that, they look okay. They are a little smaller, growing slow. Eventually, we will repot them, but for now, everything looks okay. I feel like if we repot them now, they might be a little bit too small for that, to do it safely. Some of them are really haven't grown much in the last couple of months. They should already be a little bigger. So I will just spray them now. Just water. And the soil is so dry that I might have to water a few times. Okay. Yeah, and when the water has sunken in a little, settled a little, then I would put that back to the lamp, back under the plant lamp, until maybe tomorrow. This will take a good day to dry out. And then only when the soil is really dry, I will water again. Hey, I was born in Saarland, Germany. So rather see myself as a born Saarländer. So yeah. Okay. Let me see. These here have been repotted. And now we have to look that they are really in the soil. If you repot new seedlings, very often something changes about the soil. The moment you start watering it, it often sinks down. And then you have to make sure that the root is still connected to the soil. So I will water them now. And then I want to inspect the roots a little bit closer. Okay. There's healthy growth. So in general, this looks pretty decent. But we really have to make sure that there's no issues at the roots. Sometimes you don't see it, or you only see it when it's too late. So I'm wiggling around on some of the seedlings to have a look at the root section and if they are, and whether they are connected or not. But it looks okay. Not bad. They will need more water. Roughly within a day or two, this will dry out again. I really try, like every day when I'm doing the live stream, I only bring the plants that really need the water. So today, a lot of the work that I'm doing is watering. And later we will have a look at the fruits that I brought. Maybe we can sow something out. I'm always looking for new stuff to grow on the live stream, so that could be funny. I have something, I'm not sure what's that. You guys know that, right? Like some sort of like, I don't know, some sort of orange maybe. I'm not sure what that is. I just got that in the supermarket. Feel like we might be able to grow that. I want to have a look at that later. Maybe there are seeds in there. Yeah, but that's the kind of stuff that I have here. Yeah, next seedlings. So these here have been repotted just recently. For now, looking okay. But also the same that I said earlier, you need to correct the position when you repotted them. After repotting, they always sink in a little. The soil will take a while to settle. And in the beginning, you really need to be careful that the seedlings don't lose contact with the soil, because they will instantly start to dehydrate. So I'm watering them now. Just letting everything sink in a little. If the soil is too dry, it might take a while. Okay. Yeah, and then when the soil is a little bit more flexible, when it's a little bit wet, then I can move a few seedlings back and forth that might need to be repositioned because they are leaning over a little bit. You see here, like this seedling here, they should really have connection to the soil. Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you. Granatapfel. Yeah, that's a German word. I'm not sure how you grow them, but I will try. I really hope you can sow them out. If not, we just have them for nothing, you know? Then we will just eat them. Okay, yeah, I'm correcting the position of the seedlings now here. I'm just moving the seedlings a little bit deeper into the soil, that they have a good connection to the soil. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. That's good to hear because of the sowing out. Thank you. We will try that out. I'm happy to try everything that I get my hands on. Like that is, you know, that is acceptable on YouTube. Like where the platform is happy with it. There's so many cool plants that we could grow on the live stream. Okay. Yeah, and I'm just moving the seedlings a little deeper in the soil. I really want them to stay away from the soil. I don't want them to lean down too much, too close to the soil, to the top level of soil, because that's where a lot of pathogens are. That's where often the pests are that can get to the seedlings. So having them a little deeper, also not a bad idea sometimes. Just gotta make sure that there's no root rot. And you often avoid that by seedlings by just having no pests like fungus gnats or mealybug. Like when you have root issues on little seedlings, very often fungus gnats or mealybug are the issue. That's great. Yeah, maybe we can get some Amarillo too. Sounds interesting. And that, like this one, it's called pomegranate. That's the English name, right? Pomegranate. that's a funny sounding name. In Germany, it's called Granatapfel. Granat and apple, like those two words together. Yeah, we will see how they grow. Later today, we will do the video with the passion fruit. Like I have forgotten about it. I've put them outside besides the water faucet, and I haven't cleaned them yet. There were so many different things that I did yesterday. You know, just making sure that everything's watered. I'm not sure. We will see. But these should be sweet, actually. This should be sweet. I think these are with the reddish kind of micro berries inside. They have these many tiny things inside, you know. I believe that's how they are. I've seen this fruit before. I'm not a regular fruit eater. But I'm not against growing them. Okay. Yeah. So let me show you the work with the seedlings. So I've improved that a little bit. The seedlings are now relatively straight in the soil. Not perfect. There are a few that were just weak. They will need a while. They are now in new soil, and they will eventually appreciate that. So for now, just a little bit more water, and then that thing goes back to the lamp. Just 12 hours of light during the day, 12 hours of night. That's it. They don't need excessive amounts of sunlight or light, artificial light. You just have to have, like, the good thing with the lamp is that it dries out the soil so fast. So every time, like every day, you can water again. That is really a good thing when you have soil that dries up, but at the same time, the seedlings get more water again later. Yeah, right now we're doing 12-12 to kind of keep the electricity costs low. One of the main issues that I currently have is electricity. And the reason is I have a very old kind of water boiler, water cooker, and that thing costs a lot of electricity. So I'm always aware, trying to keep the costs down. Electricity, yeah, unfortunately, like the heater is the biggest factor with electricity, but I have the greenhouses and have a little frost heater there, you know, it all adds up. So I try to run the minimum hours that I have to run. And with cacti, they don't really need a firm schedule like some of the other plants, you know. Yeah, it's really bad. So yeah, I'm running it really just so the soil dries out, so the seedlings get light, and you can really save a lot of money. Like with seedlings, you do not need these excessively strong lamps. You can run them in 24/7 light if you want to. Like if you want to really want them to grow as fast as possible, you can grow them in 24/7 hours, like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can run them. I personally wouldn't, because I feel like that night period might also have other benefits, you know. It's not just about the fact that they continue to live, that they also have to flower. Flowering is also important, and they might not do that in 24/7. So we would see. Okay, next one. Yeah, it's not with cacti. It's not so easy. Cacti, I've seen it actually written in many books that cacti don't need that kind of a darkness period. But you know, you can't really look into a plant. You can't really say that it can speak and say that it's missing something. They might do well, but they might not thrive. You know, but. Like the flowering with the bigger plants, like with the columnar plants, flowering is a huge issue. It's different when people try to grow the little Mexicans, like the little Mexican cacti. They have small flowers. They flower relatively early, relatively easy. So that might even work. They might even flower in 24/7 light. But the bigger ones, like with the columnar cacti, it's getting really difficult to grow them like that and not and still see them flowering. So yeah, Okay, next ones. These here need water. Most of the seedlings look all right. These are two different types of seedlings. So some of them are smaller, the others are a little bit bigger. At one point, I just dumped the container with the seedlings. I dumped 2 containers full of seedlings and I mixed 2 different types. But eventually I will be able to tell which ones are which. They already look a little bit different. You can already see it in the body, you know, like there's 2 entirely different body types there. Yeah, look, with columnar cacti, with the bigger ones, sometimes they need a lot of water to flower. They often need fertilizer on a regular basis. They need a good spot where they get light during summer. These are all things where you can greatly influence the flowering. Also with a cold winter period, it doesn't have to be excessively cold. They don't have to have frost, but just that classic winter time that they would experience in nature, where the temperature is maybe at 5 degrees, you know, like 0 to 5 degrees Celsius, a little bit above freezing. That kind of cold phase that tells the plant to flower. That just reminds the plant to that it needs to do something. Thank you about the jacket. I really like this one, and I haven't worn it very often. So this was really a funky one. I like that, kind of a, you know, heavily, I don't know, Aztec kind of motive, kind of pattern. I really like that. Okay. So I watered these a few times now. And when I'm done, I will just correct the position of the smaller seedlings here. The bigger ones, they are growing. They have connection to the soil. You can really see that they are on a good path, but I'm more worried about the smaller ones and I want to look at them. So I sprayed the soil a few times just to make it flexible so I can start moving seedlings a little bit easier. Yeah, now I press onto the seedlings, trying to get them a little bit deeper into the soil, just so they have stability. Here's something that I want to take out. Also dirt, pieces of wood. I really try to have a clean layer here. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, for now, the small seedlings will need a little bit more water than the bigger ones, and we have to be careful there that they get it. So I'm trying to push the little ones slightly deeper into the soil than before, just so they have it easier to take in the water. Also trying to reduce the the dehydration that is happening directly around the seedling. By the way, yesterday I've ordered flyers for the live stream. Little flyers that I can put in with the book orders. And in the future, when I ship a book, I can put in a little bit of advertising for the live stream. I'm very happy about that. Okay, yeah, this will go back to the lamp and we'll need water again tomorrow. These small seedlings here, they are not as healthy as the bigger ones, and they might need more water now. And I really got to be careful. Sometimes when you have mixed seedlings like this, that's bad, because sometimes one cactus has a totally different water need than the other. Okay, here, I don't like how these are lying here. We will fix that. Apart from that, it's okay. Some of them are growing, and that's enough for me. At this point, they don't have to, you know, they don't have to be super healthy. I just expect them to continue to grow. Eventually, when they are a little bigger, this is just the most difficult phase, the most dangerous phase for the seedlings. But later on, things will get much easier. So right now, I'm just trying to get them through that time and eventually things will get easier for us. Yeah, thank you. I've used that in the past. Like sometimes when I promoted a group that I had, I put in a flyer. And I'm looking forward to that. Just, making it official in a way, like having that kind of a, something on paper that I can look at where people, when they ask me what I'm doing, that I have a good answer for that. Okay. So these need a little bit more water now. Always takes a while when the soil has dried out. I very rarely, when the soil is completely dry, I just spray once and leave them alone. Usually when I start watering, that's why I have the tub here. Sometimes we have to spray them a few times until the water actually gets where it needs to be, like to the seedlings. And sometimes the soil can be dry on one end and completely wet on the other. Okay. So now I want to fix the seedlings that are totally crooked in the soil. I'm not sure. These small ones, they are not supposed to sink in like that. So we would see what we can do. Just generally trying to get the seedlings positioned in a healthy way in the soil. They shouldn't touch too much of the soil. They shouldn't lean over. They shouldn't lie sideways on the soil. Perfectly straight, so they stay away from that dangerous ground where you have the pests, where you have pathogens that love to infect the little seedling. You need a little bit of condensation, like the classic stuff, condensation around the seedling, but without being on the soil, because once you have it on the soil, it starts to rot. Okay, here's a seedling, doesn't look good. Feel like we can take this one out. This one didn't make it. Always taking out the seedlings that have expired. You gain nothing. You usually gain nothing from a sick seedling that you will eventually lose. The only thing that often happens is that it will contaminate the top layer of the soil, and then it spreads to the other seedlings too. Okay. In this container, I feel like the seedlings that are much bigger than the others, I think these might be the ones that we're keeping long term. We will see. I will keep these for a while now, trying to see if they actually manage to survive. But I will not really do much to really keep these around if they don't survive. If they don't survive on their own root. We will very soon start grafting seedlings, but this isn't the type of stuff that we will usually graft. Yeah, we have too many seedlings anyways, and you never know which ones are the good ones. Sometimes it can make sense to hold on to the weak ones, and I'm not saying sort them out if they have a chance to survive. Sometimes you have a seedling and you know very well that it will not live, it will not make it past maybe a month, and those you can sometimes take out a little earlier because they have a tendency to just cause infections in the pot. That continuously happens. You are losing a seedling 1 week, then you're losing another one 2 weeks later, like that. They're continuously spreading disease. So I usually try to take out where I feel like this is not going anywhere. And experience helps. Like when you've seen that a few times, you get a feeling for the type of seedlings that are just not made to survive. Okay, and same here. Like this is a container where I repotted. And this is just skin of a seedling that we need to remove just to keep the top layer of soil healthy. I really want to do everything I can to avoid damping off, that kind of a fungal infection that you often get when the soil is dirty, when you have too much stuff rotting in the soil. Apart from that, I want to spray. I want to water them now. They look okay. Like the bigger ones, they are growing. They will get fertilizer again this week. And yeah, I'm sure they will appreciate it. They usually grow visibly when I fertilize them. And I try to fertilize them once a month right now. Okay. Yeah, and with like you can, on one hand, you can say that you are keeping the strongest seedlings, but with all the flower hybrids that we have here, sometimes you can't tell if a flower is good or not. And a weak seedling could have the best flower ever. You know, you just can't tell until you see the flower. And sometimes it pays off to wait for a weak seedling, and sometimes it doesn't. You really have to. It depends on every case, on every separate case. Sometimes when you see that they are actually growing, they are just slow, but they are growing, then it makes sense sometimes to wait, to give them more time. Sometimes I keep them longer in a bag, like this, you know, like the young seedlings usually stay in that for a couple months. And if the seedlings are weak, then you can keep them in longer. It's just something where you got to really know what you want. If you are growing seedlings that you wanna select just for basic strength, healthiness, then I would always sort the weak ones out. But if you actually want to have the best possible flower, hard to say which ones will eventually blow you away. Always have to have like that little. You need to look at the label. And if the label is something particularly good, sometimes I would rather wait for it, you know? Yeah. I feel like these tiny cacti, it's even harder to grow them because they're so small. Sometimes you grow them and you don't even know that they are there in the beginning, right? These are the tiny ones, right? I think I've grown them once in my life and it worked to a certain point. But then I had issues kind of adapting them to taking them out of humidity. Today it wouldn't happen anymore. But now I'm growing different types of cacti. Today I'm not really keeping much that doesn't have big flowers or that isn't useful for hybrid breeding for me. Yeah. That I really think about trying that once on the live stream, but I will have to look into all the regulations. I think they are CETA's one species, so I will look into that if we can do it on the live stream safely, you know, like without having issues. And if everything's all right, we might sow them out. I will look into that. I'm not growing many euphorbia personally, just from my point of view, like who never really grows a lot of other succulents. I would just treat them well, you know. I would just treat them like the other plants, giving it a good spot in summer, a lot of water, a lot of fertilizer, making sure that it's not like when you bring it out eventually in spring or in summer, make sure you are not losing it due to sunburn, because sometimes when you bring a plant somewhere that isn't used to the environment, you can lose it. But if you do everything right, adjusting it to the outside, I would give that plant good care, lot of fertilizer, regular watering, depending on how much you can safely water that kind of plant. I think, I'm not sure if I even had euphorbia. I had one or two that came up in a pot as a weed, I guess. You know, like sometimes there are some species that germinate in collections, sometimes that sow themselves out. Eventually, a healthy plant will pop, you know. I would just recommend, if you only have a little stick, you know, if you just have the base, then be careful that you're not cutting it too much, because that will stress it, you know. I usually try to, when I'm taking cuttings for propagating, I usually treat the plant very well, and I water it well. I try to push it for a while, and then eventually, when it has grown, then I cut it back, you know. So be careful, like when you're cutting, especially during a time like this. Always good to do the cuttings like early in summer. I usually, like in my climate, I usually make cuttings and grafts and that kind of stuff between April and maybe late July. Let me know how it goes. Will be interesting. Yeah, today, this is the other container. Check it out. Victory at last, you know? Oh, by the way, I need to talk about something. Good that you brought it up, because I almost forgot it. So I had this container here that I also want to use to sow out, you know? I want to use just to sow out different plants, and this gives me a little bit more space to sow out. Now I've got this, and the company had put a sticker there, and it was impossible to get it off. I was scraping, and this was one of the stickers that was made not to come off. It was really like, I didn't want the company to win. I felt like I could have left it on. I really want to have these get as much light as possible. But yeah, now that the whole thing is scratched, but it was worth it. I would do it again, you know? I would do it again, because I hate when they put a sticker there that you don't get off again. Like, this is plastic, this is transparent. Why put a sticker there that you don't get off, you know? And then I wanted to show you this. Check out, they even put stickers below the rim, like on the inside of the rim. I didn't get these off. These are still there. I would try to use a, you know, like a heat, like a little heater to heat this up a little. Maybe I can get it clean. But I had to talk about this today. This is so unnecessary, you know. This isn't even good advertising, you know. Like when you see a sticker on a product that you bought and you can't peel it off. I'm not thinking, wow, this is a great company. I really should go on the internet and talk about this company. You know, like I'm looking at that and I'm getting agitated. So just wanted to say that. Let's bring back the other one. Perfectly sized top for the table. Okay, yeah. There are one or two seedlings that are on the verge, in between life and death. We would see how it goes. For now, this is okay. I think we did everything that we could. Let me spray them once more. And then I'll see if I will wiggle around on the seedlings to see if I can maybe improve one or two of them. But in general, this looks like this is trash. Here's a seedling that had a bad root system. I took that one out. Good that we looked. Sometimes you only see it when you really spray, when you really come close. Normally, like with all of these containers that I had in the last couple of weeks, I bought a few, or I got a few that my mom bought, you know. And with all of these, the stickers came off. These were the only ones where the stickers really stayed on. Like, and these were really the type of sticker you couldn't, like, I'm not sure if they would have come off even if I had used the heater. These were really, it was like it's cemented on there. So yeah, okay. Yeah, for now, this is okay. This will go under the lamp again. This needs light. I consider eventually repotting them again, but for now, this is okay. Trying to carefully pot the seedlings a little deeper. Here's a little bit of piece of wood that I'm taking out. This looks like the first generation of soil that we used. But they look like I've repotted them, so I'm just surprised to see that I put them in the old soil and not in the new one. What we could do is we could repot them eventually. But for now, this is okay, I think. For now, they stay in. If there's another issue with them, I will repot them next time. Okay, same here. These have been repotted. Oops. And this one needs to be brought back into the soil. Apart from that, not much going on. They just need water. Correcting that one seedling again. Right now I'm busy watering all day long. Yeah, they look okay, but it's just that old soil had the tendency to really give fungus gnats a good place to live in. And with the newer soil, it was a little better. The newer soil was just classic sowing soil, and it dries a little faster because the pieces of wood are not so big. Doesn't have these huge chunks of wood. And I feel like the big wood has really given the fungus gnats a great place to live. When you're working with soil, the one thing that really kind of sticks out to me is that when you're working with minerals, it can make things a lot easier. Sowing out in minerals can be, you know, a safer medium very often, where you are avoiding certain problems. But then again, you don't have the same kind of growth rates in it if things go well. And if things don't go well, you have a lot of issues sometimes too. Like if you take them out of humidity early and you have tiny seedlings, then you have issues giving them as much water as they need within the first couple of months. Because a pumice soil, like a really mineral soil, sometimes it's very fast draining. Sometimes too fast draining for seedlings. So within the next couple of days, I will water a little bit more. Just because I'm seeing a trend that the seedlings have dehydrated a little. Been trying to get rid of the fungus gnats, and that you can only do watering like slow. Be a little bit more careful with the watering for a limited time. If you have the little seedlings, eventually they will need more water, and we will give it to them. The fungus gnats will probably not become that huge issue again. We will let the soil dry out, and that should actually be enough to deal with them, hopefully. That's a theory. We will see how it is in practice. These need water. Totally yellow. I think we will repot them. We will repot these into new soil now. And yeah, this is first generation of soil, so it's good that we're moving them now. Let me just... I would just love to put that water somewhere. So I don't have to repot in the dirt. Come on, man. Stop. Okay. So I will move the seedlings into the second generation soil now, and that is sowing soil, classic sowing soil, in the same size of pot. Do you use it just the gravel, nothing else, just as a pure medium? I will look into it just to see what kind of how it looks like, you know. But that's interesting. Yeah, there are many different ways to grow cacti, and minerals is often safer. I'm mostly working with classic sowing soil because I'm working with it inside, because I don't want to have a mask when you're repotting mineral stuff, you're always exposed to the dust, and I try to not have that in my face level. So everything that I'm doing in here is usually not mineral soil. But I used a lot of it in the past, I did a lot of pumice based soil mixes. I tried lava, and all kinds of different mixes, also with coconut. Maybe we're doing another batch where we're working with coconut fiber sometime soon. Always trying new mediums to just experiment. You never know which one will be great, will be the perfect medium for all your needs. Sometimes you have to experiment a little. Okay. And we're almost out of sowing soil. I have ordered new one, and I hope it will eventually arrive. Shouldn't take much longer. Okay. So this is the new soil, and here I want to really clean the top layer up. Like I said, taking off this kind of stuff, like bigger pieces that will eventually become a nuisance at the very least. And if the seedling grows into that, sometimes you're trying to rip it away, to rip it off, and you have the root in the hand. So I really try to have just an even top layer. So now I spray the seedlings in the old soil so I can take them out easier without injuring the root. I don't want it to be too hard. Otherwise, when you're pulling, there's a big risk that the root stays in the soil. Yeah, it's like coconut fiber is great for plants. I really like it. Really like it. And I will look into that aquarium gravel. I have classic gravel that I used for having the base of the greenhouse. Maybe we will try it out. I never tried growing cacti in gravel, actually. Would be an interesting test, Okay. So this is the seedlings. These are the seedlings in the old pot, and now I'm taking them out slowly, one by one, placing them on top of the soil here, on top of the new pot with the new soil. Just watering the new soil also. I don't want to have the top layer of soil being so puffy, sticking to the seedlings, making everything dirty. Really trying to work clean. I also try to get rid of the old soil. If I have a little root ball like this, I really try carefully getting rid of as much soil as I can. Sometimes when you already see that the root ball is very small, don't overdo it. Sometimes you can really injure a seedling by taking off too much of the root. Yeah, I have used coconut fiber for a while, and the older I get, the more I'm drawn towards it. I feel like it could be a great medium for us, for inside. So I expect that I will have that on the live stream sometime in the future. At some point, I will just bring in one of these big blocks, like big bricks of coconuts, and we will try to use that on the live stream. We will see how that goes. Depending on how it's going with the books, I might actually buy that within the next couple of weeks. We will see. But I wanna experiment more with that. I had bought me a big box of bricks, of coconut bricks, and that was years ago, and it lasted me, I think it lasted me 5-6 years. Yeah, 5-6. And the way, from what I know, coconut should actually, the big problem with some of the soil is if it dries up, it becomes unusable. If soil becomes too dry, it becomes too like a real brick. And I think coconut doesn't do that. At least in a lot of the tests that I did, I've never really seen it totally compacted where I couldn't get it back to a usable humidity. Yeah, I'm still moving seedlings here, and when I'm done, I will let you know. And then we will do it together, like positioning the seedlings in the soil. These I want to take apart. Like when you have these big groups of seedlings, very often it's a pain. It's a pain to just plant them in a way that really does justice to every seedling, you know? Like sometimes you have seedling groups where you have 3 or 4 together, and if you try to put it in the soil, if you press against one side, the seedling on the other side will fall over. So I really try to take them apart. And it doesn't have to be completely, sometimes it can be beneficial to keep them together in smallish groups of 2-3 seedlings. But yeah, it definitely makes it harder when you plant them. If seedlings are difficult to pot, just take them apart. Here's another one. These are maybe seven seedlings. Yeah, and I'm taking them apart now because that will allow me to really put them in the soil. And then we'll see how they will develop within the next couple weeks in the new soil. In this container here, I see a lot of weak seedlings. This is not the kind of healthy kind of seedling that they could be if they had grown normally. These are very disadvantaged, like delayed. Something is off here. It's probably Hilde Winterer, but we will look at the label. Okay, I'm almost done. Just moving the remaining seedlings on top of the soil here, and then I will move them into the soil one by one. Okay. Here's a white seedling, completely white, probably variegated, and I don't like that. But it could also have to do, sometimes you have seedlings that are covered by the soil, and those will be a little whiter. Yeah, we will see. We will try out. I definitely want to get the coconut this year. I already wanted to have it last year. I ran out last year. And I've been using it for sowing out. And the one thing that I felt like with sowing out, I had a few more issues in the beginning with some sort of a weird cobweb mold. But it might have been caused by the seeds. So I want to try it again, sowing out into them. The soil itself is good. Like the coconut fiber itself is actually very useful for all kinds of plants. It should work, but I want to compare it to the other stuff that we're doing. Will be interesting to see how the growth rates will be in that soil. Okay, I think I'm done here. Here's one seedling that, come on, I will put it into the new pot, but it really looks horrible. I don't think that it will survive. And now I'm trying to find the label. Been using these tiny labels and they're so bad. They're so tiny that they always disappear in the pot. These are Born to be Wild sister. Born to be Wild is a Lobivia hybrid. Lobivia ferox hybrid, I believe. And yeah, this is offspring of a plant that I got off eBay. And that's probably a sister of Born to be Wild. It wasn't labeled like that, but it is the same kind of cross that produced Born to be Wild. They have a really nice flower, strong orange, lot of contrast in the flower, and I really liked it. So I want to spray the seedlings now just to clean them and also to make it easier for me to push them in the soil now. I really don't want to, like, these are tiny seedlings. One push too hard and that seedling will break, and I try to not do that. So soil is pretty flexible now, pretty well watered. So now we just try to put the seedlings in the soil one by one. And I'm taking time because, again, one bad movement and you can instantly end it for a seedling. Especially the ones that are a little bit thinner. Sometimes when they're stretching, they get very weak at the base. And you got to be careful that you don't give them the rest, so to speak, you know. Here's a seedling that I really don't like. I would put it in the soil now, but I expect that some of the seedlings that we're putting in now might not make it long term, just due to variegation. These are all yellowish. It's not a healthy skin color. They've been fertilized. They shouldn't be like that, you know. Pasteurizing saves you a lot of pain. It's a lot of additional work, but it helps, you know, helps to definitely keep the soil free of fungus gnat larvae, of slugs. Sometimes you get little slugs in a container that were just in the soil, you know, that where some slug at one point put the eggs in there. So that really saves you a little bit of pain. But it's work, you know. Yeah, I wouldn't use it in the same oven where I put my food. You know, there are people, I know many people, like plant people that grow cacti, you know, they would put that thing in the oven, like besides the turkey in the oven. I could see that very well happening. I've known a lot of people that have been cleaning the pots in the dishwasher, that kind of stuff, you know. I could see people putting that in the oven too. It's not bad per se, but I wouldn't want to have it in the oven, like where I'm eating, that kind of oven. I think if I really want to do it, I would get me a little microwave to just microwave the soil. You are laughing, but I can 100%. I know people that have done that all the time, and a lot of them, you know, they are either married with saints, they have a very understanding partner, or they are single, like me, you know. You just at some point, yeah. But I would get me a little old used microwave to do that. Just put it somewhere aside in the cellar, maybe. It's probably not even, you know, it's probably not even dangerous. Like if I think about if you're baking the soil for 2 hours, who knows, it might start to burn, you know. That is the one thought that I have. Like if you are cooking up the oven to a certain degree and the soil is completely dry, eventually it could burn. So be careful when you do it. So a lot of people do it with boiling water. They are just boiling water, and then they put it over the soil, and that already helps a little bit. That is not perfect, but I think it should qualify as pasteurization. So yeah, there are many ways to do this. Yeah, today I try to avoid that kind of stuff. When I was younger, I would have done that too. Like I still remember when I was working with the pressure cooker to pasteurize medium and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I still remember that. I wouldn't do it anymore today. Yeah, but sometimes, depending on what you do, cleanliness really matters. Clean soil, like what we're doing here, like sowing out. In most cases, you don't have to work perfectly clean, as long as you know when to water and when not to water. But it doesn't mean that there are cases when it really backfires and you are losing plants with something that is entirely preventable by just using pasteurized soil, by just cooking it, or by using a disinfectant. I'm sure there are some that might also get rid of eggs in the soil, any kind of egg that can come up later. Like I still remember, like there was a time when my father had a big company, and so directly besides that company, there was a trash company, and they were handling all kinds of trash, and they were handling old bags of soil, this classic, bark soil, whatever they were having. And then one day they had to close that whole factory, that whole thing, because they had soil that was contaminated with really big spiders, like really big spiders. I'm not sure what species it was, but it was something of the size of a tarantula. So yeah, and they eventually had to close that whole thing down because some of that soil had been contaminated with some sort of a spider species, and that is how you can really how soil can be. I'm sure they are treating it very often that doesn't happen, but I've just recently seen soil where there were slugs in the soil, and they have gotten in somehow before the thing was bagged. So it might not be a bad idea to keep the soil clean, pasteurized if possible. Okay, yeah. So here's the progress. Yeah, these were from a different country. This was not a spider that we had here. I still remember because it made the news at the time. This was around 2000, maybe 2003, 2002, something like that. Okay. So yeah, I'm still busy moving the little seedlings in the soil. This takes forever. The smaller the seedling, the weaker the seedling, the longer it takes. If these were bigger seedlings, you could just push them into the soil. But in this case, they need a little bit more. It's never ending. Yeah, a lot of those don't take the winter, like the European winter is so cold that a lot of them would probably not survive. But there are so many new species that are becoming invasive pests. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me, Right now we have the first like these flies. How are they called? Tiger. In German they say Tigermücke. They call it like some sort of a mosquito that can that can really infect you with bad stuff. Yellow fever, I think. Yeah, and they are becoming more common here too now. And there are many more, like the hornets, these weird invasive hornet species that from Asia. They are now more and more common in the area. I haven't seen them here, but I expect to see them every year. Like every time there's a hornet's nest in my land somewhere, I look and I try to see if it's actually the invasive species or not. If it's the invasive species, I would do something against them, but so far none. I just keep seeing them like in local kind of groups on Facebook, local pages where they slowly start showing up, and they are dangerous for the local hornet species. They're kind of pushing them out. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's that one. We have the classic mosquito that we always had, and now we're getting this new kind of mosquito that's even more problematic. I feel like it's at one point, like with how much warmer everything has become, we might even get malaria at some point, you know? And that's a real chance that we get that here. Okay. Yeah, these seedlings really look bad. I don't like how they look. Lot of weakness, genetic weakness in them, lot of variegation. Yeah, these must be the one. That must be the name. In Germany they're called Tigermücke, tiger fly, something like that, you know. And I've seen a few. I've already seen a few. It's exactly what I need. More plants that can give me disease when they bite me. Absolutely love it. 2 days ago I had the first tick bite. First new tick bite of the season. So I gotta treat the animals again now. Like gotta give Kami and Mika something. I don't want them to get Lyme the same as I did. Yeah, always make sure that, look, it's difficult. I also have garden ponds, you know, so they are basically it's hard to kind of influence that they are laying their eggs in there. I'm sure there are different insecticides that you could use to get rid of them, but I'm always worried I might also wipe out the healthy ones, the good ones that I needed for the birds, you know. A lot of the birds eat the mosquito here. Yeah, we have more and more problems with ticks. It's become so warm that they are active all year round now. They're active all year round. Sometimes they don't, you know, they don't expire in winter, and that means they have another year to become infected with something themselves, you know. Lot of issues. My mother was so ill 20 years ago, I think, 25 years ago. My mom had to get infusions, like from in the kitchen of the doctor. Every day she had to drive to the doctor's kind of home and get infusions for a couple of weeks or so. It's really bad with Lyme, and not only Lyme. Okay, I think I'm almost done here, and it's good that I'm almost done because this has been taking much longer than I wanted. But these are so tiny that they literally every little bit of pressure can be too much for them. I would love to. That's why I'm currently restoring the garden ponds, because the ducks used to come here. They used to spend a lot of time in the garden ponds, but they have been overgrown, and I'm currently trying to repair them, fixing holes and that kind of stuff, in the hope that one day the ducks will come back. Looking forward to that. Yeah. Okay. So these will go to the lamp now. I'm happy with that. This is okay for a beginning. This is not perfect. We can always move seedlings again later. If something isn't good, we will fix it. What's important now, these really need water. And they might need water every day. So I put these aside and will water them again. Maybe in the evening. If the soil is dry in the evening, I might actually water it today. And only because I just repotted them, they are now stressed. I want to make sure that they kind of take that well. Hey, that's great. I would love to have a country where Lyme doesn't exist. It's a real issue. It's been like, for me, it's been a huge issue. Like, I've been getting it on a regular basis just by walking to the mailbox. You know, eventually you will get a few tick bites here and there, and it just adds up. Like in a normal summer, when you live a little bit in the green, where I live, like with grassland and that kind of stuff, it's hard to avoid it. Okay. Yeah, I really had to learn how to speak. My whole face was numb. Everything was paralyzed. It was a really bad time. Okay, these here look okay. They just need water. For now, I'm not seeing a huge reason to change something. Seedlings are doing good. Soil looks healthy. Only thing that I really need is water now here. Okay, let's put this aside. I wanted to open the fruit basket. Maybe we can see what we have here. Okay, so these are the pomegranates. I will try to sow these out very soon. Okay, I see. Yeah, I consider getting chickens, you know. Neighbor has chickens, and I might actually get me some too, but it's kind of hard to keep them alive here, like with the predators around. You have to have a very good chicken coop, and before I have that, I wouldn't want them, you know. I wouldn't want to have a chicken walking around here, because we have everything, like foxes. We have these big kind of buzzards that are really hunting them. They are really actively hunting them. Had a lot of issues, like the neighbor had a lot of issues with them. Took a lot of loss, painful loss, to kind of get everything safe without any kind of entryways for them. And I really want to have everything safe before I get one. Like I would cry if I lose a chicken that is my chicken. I would really cry. I love animals, and I don't want to see them suffer, you know. Yeah. I think about building something for that, you know, but you have to have a place where they sleep, and it needs to be safe too. Every night I have the weasels in the garden, like the ferrets. They really like chicken. Okay, so let me see what we have here. So these are limes. Should we grow limes? Is that really a thing? I'm sure they are often grafted, right? Maybe we will grow a few just for fun. But these might need a while. trying to press everything, trying to feel if these are ripe or not. Probably not. Everything feels pretty firm. Eventually, I will try to get some of the seeds out here. Maybe we can grow them. This is a lime, I guess. Yeah, we will try it out. Yeah, and the other stuff, I'm not sure. This is something we could grow. I don't know, Pfirsich, right? In German, they say Pfirsich or something like that. Or it's a similar fruit that is closely related, something like that. And yeah, we will try to sow these out too. Trying to get the seeds, trying to get the one seed out. They should have a big seed. And we will try it out. We will try to grow everything that I get my hands on. Yeah, I will just have them inside. Right now, everything that I'm growing here, we're growing inside. Just for the live stream, just for the sake of sowing out. Notice the passion fruit will be sown out within the next days, but we're not there yet. The cleaning's not done yet, but almost. Getting done today with the cleaning, and if everything dries up until tomorrow, we might be able to do that tomorrow. Take care, Robert. Have a nice day. Hope you have a good day. Thank you for having been here. I appreciate it. Okay. Let's check the containers. I have a few of these that I want to go through. I want to finally take them out, but unfortunately, some of them take much longer than others. Some of the weaker seedlings. This is one where I've sown out Amun-Re seeds, like seeds of the hybrid Amun-Re. And they're growing, but they're not growing healthily. They have been in that thing for a month now, I guess. And I'm not seeing a lot of updates, like any kind of progress. I will close it up again. At this point, I can't really do much here. They look okay for now, but not really growing. No spine grows, no real development. And that is what I hate. I will spray them a little, just once, to give them that kind of rain sensation. And that's also good because it helps the seedlings to get rid of any kind of dirt. Sometimes helps to get rid of the remnants of the seed. Okay, next one. Yeah, same situation. Also Amun-Re. It's funny that this is a different container, but the same kind of, same kind of health, general impression. You can put these two besides each other, and you can see the poor genetic health. Amun-Re. Some of them, like some of the crosses that I did in the past, like I think I did at least 20 different crosses with Amun-Re, and some of them come out like this, and some of them come out healthy. You never know. So for now, just water. In this container, I would try to move this seedling here. This needs to be a little bit more in the soil. I'm not sure if it will help it. The way it looks like, it's already not looking great, not healthy. But I'm sure that it's not getting easier if it doesn't have a good connection to the soil. So I just try to pot them a little deeper, just push them a little bit deeper into the soil. Okay. Yeah. It's all I can do now. This will stay in the container. Just from gut feeling, I would say a good month at the very least. And it's possible that if we look in a month, they might not have grown at all. If that happens, yeah, then we would think about options. Then we could repot them, bring them in a new soil. Maybe that helps. We could just fertilize them in the container. Could also be something we might do, or we graft them. Hey, Kami. What's up? I think I need to... Kami just came in the live stream, like my cat. And the cat wants to eat something. She just came to complain that I feed her. I hope it's okay if I just take a minute to give the cat something to eat, because she's like, you know, she's ancient. So, everything all right? Yeah, it's okay. She's eating something else now. Now I will feed her after the live stream. She's eating like the dry food now. I always have to be behind her. I feel like she might have diabetes, something like that, and I always try to give her something to eat every few hours, and that helps. Okay, so yeah, these don't look great too. They're still in the container. Everything that's still in humidity right now, there are reasons for it. Usually weak genetic health. I will give them time. This is a Gräsers Erfolg hybrid. Gräsers Erfolg in Cantora Gelb. They are growing, they are there, but they are not growing fast. Not really what I like to see here. Needs to stay in the container because you couldn't really safely bring them out. These here, I think we can bring out. They have a certain size where I feel like it could be relatively safe. Okay, I'll put out something to eat. Give me a second, okay? I'll be back. Kami, komm. Jetzt bin ich komm, jetzt komm. Okay. I put her something to eat down there. But now she's gone. She just wanted to come, remind me, and go on. Okay. I fell a little. But everything's all right. This is just, I'm doing a lot of stuff in very small area. I have all these boxes around me, and it's not easy to move here. Like when I'm trying to move out of the desk, sometimes, you know, it's a workplace, you know, but wherever you work, where you put a lot of work in, sometimes you have to make a mess. So I will bring these out now. Just wanted to say this is okay. Taking off the lid now. Yeah, I just dumped over like a huge container full of seeds. I want to bring these in the live stream within the next day so we can start with the seeds. Okay, yeah, I will leave the lid open now in this one. They will come under the lamp, just normal, trying to let the soil dry out every now and then, and that will give me a chance to fertilize, okay? Now it's time to fertilize them. I really try to, the ones that have been in the container for 2 or 3 months, now it's time. I don't want to wait too long with fertilizing. I usually don't start in the beginning when they are all in bags, when they are all in containers, because you always have to open every single one up, fertilize, then close it again. So I usually leave them in the container for 2 months. And then I take them out and start fertilizing. Yeah, and we're doing that here now. We could leave them in. It's not that they have to come out. But I feel like they would survive if we take them out now. So They will come under the lamp, will be sprayed maybe once a day. Every time the soil is dry, I will spray them again. If there are issues, we can also close the lid again. But most of them, check it out. This is one where I took off the lid maybe a week ago. And they're doing well. You just have to water them in the first days, making sure that the stress isn't so bad. Like from going out of high humidity into normal room humidity where you have a heater running or where they are under a lamp. It always is like within the first couple of weeks, you have to maybe do a little bit more, water them a little more. So yeah, these I want to water. Some of these in the takeaway containers. These here also need water. They don't look bad. I just don't like the takeaway container. This takes a lot of space. Yeah, and just the shape of the container is a little bit bad for sowing out. For growing plants, it works, but it's not perfect. So now I'm watering. I have a lot of watering to do today again. And I just want to do that now. Watering one container after the other. I have many here in front of me. Usually not. It really depends. There are plants where I don't care. You know, I feel like when I'm spraying them, when I'm really spraying them, you can kind of recreate that effect that you would have if you are slowly removing the bag or the lid. But with how many you have here, it gets really difficult to start slowly adjusting them all. I usually take them out, and then within the first couple of weeks, I spray them more often, like twice a day within the first week. Then I'm really already slowing down, waiting for the soil to dry up. But yeah, the first week, I usually try to really mitigate the shock, mitigate the stress that they have from coming out of humidity. They could, maybe. I haven't seen one. But the problem with them is you need the space for the seedlings, you know? And if you plant them deeper in these pots, they are not transparent. So they might not get a lot of light if you plant them deeper. I have some where that actually happened. Like this. And this has happened because the soil eventually comes out of the pot, you know? The more you water, eventually you will lose soil. And this here is a good example. You need to leave a little space for the seedlings. And if you put the lid up, for one, it would be completely dark. It would have to be a transparent lid. And even then, might be difficult with the little space that you have in these pots, you know? Okay, next one. This one needs water. Spraying a few times here. I might have to move one or two seedlings, nothing big, just playing around with them a little bit to give them a better connection to the soil, correcting a little. Every now and then when you push on the seedling, you really feel it's not in the soil the way it's supposed to be. So sometimes you're testing the seedlings for stability. And if they really give in, if you carefully press against the tip and you feel like there's nothing below that presses against, like some sort of like the soil, you know, where you feel like it's there. Yeah, if that's not happening, then you need to push them a little deeper, pot them a little deeper. Stability is really a big thing with them at that size. You can grow them like they can grow twice as fast if they are well connected to the soil. That's why you sometimes have these big differences in regards to seedling size. There are seedlings that just have a better root situation than others. Okay. And this one I might have to water again, maybe today. In the beginning, I watered endlessly. In the first months when the seedlings were all a little younger, I watered so much more than I'm doing now. I have cut back the watering, and I really try to only water when the seedlings are dry. Here's one. Let's spray them, and then we will see what we can do here. Just to correct the seedlings a little bit. There are one or two that just have fallen over after being repotted. When you're repotting seedlings in the beginning, they just don't really fit well into the new soil. That is all something that happens over time. Little bit more water. When soil is dried up, makes everything harder to work with. And also got to be careful to not have them too deep in the soil. There's really a middle ground that you should try to meet. Seedlings need to be well connected, have a good solid connection with the root, but also somewhat away from the soil. Okay. This is it for now. And also one of the containers that needs a little bit more water within the next days. Everything that has weakish seedlings, I try to water more. Unless you can really see fungus gnats, unless that is the issue. If the soil is okay and they are doing poorly, looking dehydrated, shriveled up very often, you are just not watering enough. That is something that I often say. And yeah, because in the beginning, a lot of people underwater. Seedlings need so much water to just continue to exist. Not even thrive, but just to continue to exist. What's that? Got a question. Any cacti that only get about a foot tall? Yeah, let me think. Some Lubivia, some cool Echinopsis maybe that grow wider. Sometimes like some of the Zoerensia species, I'm not sure what a foot is, like maybe like this. There are some dwarf species, like Zoerensia candicans already gets a little bigger. They get wide, you know. So it really depends on how much space you want to invest. But Lubivia, Echinopsis could be great. Then there are some like really like Micranthocereus is a small one. Yeah, what else? A lot of cool Echinopsis hybrids that you might be able to grow with that kind of setup. Everything, like most of the hybrids, like the really classic flower hybrids, like Flying Saucer, they will get much bigger, much taller. There are not that many. Lobivia have smaller flowers. They have beautiful flowers, but smaller ones. Zoerensia maybe. There might be a few of the Zoerensia hybrids that stay smaller. But eventually, every hybrid is a little different. Hard to tell which final size they have. It always depends on the parents that are involved. And Zoerensia can get pretty big too, like pretty big and wide. Yeah. Try Echinopsis. It depends on the winter. Echinopsis take a little bit less winter, like a little bit less cold than than let's say a columnar cactus like Trichocereus. But if you don't have that kind of a hard frost in winter, they might really be good. Yeah, I like Lobivia. I'm a fan. And I also like Sörensia, a lot of different Sörensia species, and some of them are relatively small. I think like with a foot, that could get really borderline, you know, there a lot of good cacti get a little bigger. I would love to plan some of them out. It's a great feeling to when you can really just put them in front of your house and you know that in 10, 20 years that would be awesome. I would love to be able to do that. Okay. Yeah, in this container here, I've just moved seedlings a little deeper after watering. These must come out. This is old soil, I think. So eventually I will repot them. Not today. But these will be repotted sometime soon. Thank you. Like, for example, they're really good ones. Like Lobivia ferox is a beautiful species. Lobivia winteriana, beautiful flower. But some of them a little bit more cold tender. So try out which one, like you need to experiment a little bit. It's always good if you can protect them from the rain. I sometimes speak German. Guten Tag. Hallo, guten Tag. Every now and then I say a few German words, but it's always hard. Like when people ask me to speak German, my head is instantly empty. Yeah, thank you. I'm especially one with nature. Every time I'm at my desk here, there's always so much mud. It's like I'm playing in the sand lot. But this is really, I enjoy what we do here. It's really good. It's a nice industry to be in. It's a nice kind of community, and I enjoy what I do. It's really like from all the things that how my life could have played out, I'm happy with myself. Also today, looking at so much of social media, you know, all the influencers that are building these fake lives where they did everything. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with, you know, that what we're doing here. I was born in Saarland, Germany. Saarland is a state in Germany, and it's basically in between Germany and France. They're so close that you have the best of both worlds in like where I'm from. So I have family in France and I have family in Germany. Yeah, it depends. You know, I've seen, like, I've heard there's some part, like some communities that are really difficult. Like I've heard a lot of stuff about like toxicity in certain communities, but I feel like I've met so many great people with plants. You just meet a certain kind of person that very often is tolerant, open-minded, that kind of stuff, you know. It takes a certain person to try keeping something alive, in my opinion. Like when you're growing something, you're kind of you like that thing depends on you, and that takes a certain kind of person to manage that, to keep that in mind and make sure that they have everything they need. Met a lot of good people in the community. I know a few of these preppers too. It can like, you know, it happens. Like I've just seen a friend of mine from school that I was in school, and he's now having like a prepper channel, a prepper page, you know, and they are talking about like, you know, about all these the breakdown of society and that stuff. Not that I don't think it couldn't happen, you know, but it's always, yeah. I'm sure it isn't easy to grow in that industry for one, and also, you know, to survive financially. So I've been watching that this is someone that I was in school with, and I've been watching his YouTube or his like the videos that he's posted on Facebook, and I'm always watching it. It's not my kind of content, but I always have these tendencies where I would love to be independent of society. And right now I understand when a lot of people try to be self-reliant, you know, in today's time, like when people often behave irrationally, when people are sometimes just difficult, you know, I totally get that people try to get away from that a little bit. And yeah, like long term, I would love to have a life where I'm just independent, where you have all the electricity, like you can kind of get it with solar, with some sort of a solar panel, that kind of stuff. I would love to have something like this where I can just grow my stuff without having any kind of cost. Just what the electricity that I get from the sunlight and that kind of stuff. I like that part. But I'm not building a bunker yet. Okay. So yeah, let me see how late. I will water for the rest of the live stream. Maybe another 15 minutes because I just have to water a lot of plants now. Yeah, and then I think we're coming to an end very soon. 10, 15 minutes. I'm always happy to answer questions if you have any. If not, I'm just watering, okay? Yeah, I know how that is. I sometimes enjoy watching all kind of hobby content. There's something really positive about someone being good at what they do. And I enjoy watching that, especially if it's a positive kind of hobby. I enjoy watching videos like when they are hunting for fossils, for, you know, like fossil stuff or dinosaur, like when they're walking around in the desert looking at stones trying to find a dinosaur bone. I would love to do that. If I would live in the United States, I would be hunting for, you know, I would do that too. I like that. Or when people walk around looking for meteoroids, that kind of stuff, I love that too. So yeah, I'm sure when we're done here, you will have 10 cacti, 10, 20 cacti within the next year or two. It usually doesn't take long. Just make sure you get something that really flowers, that is really nice, and you will be blown away. Maybe something like flying saucer. Flying saucer is such a beautiful flower. When you see it, it will blow you away. It's a good hobby. And in my opinion, it's not so difficult compared to other stuff. Like growing cacti, of course, you have to make sure that you're not overwatering. But apart from that, they are not so sensitive than other plants. Hey, welcome to the live stream. I could eat some pizza too now. That's great. Like I've been like metal detecting has been a huge thing for me. Like there were times in my life when I was really, really deep into the hobby, and I always wanted to do a metal detecting channel, but the situation's too complicated. Like every state has a different legal situation, and I just didn't want to bother with it. But I love metal detecting, so that's great. Great to hear. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the pizza. I could really eat some pizza now. I've seen the pizza and said, that would be great. I have heard that name before, but I don't know who it is. Is that someone like with a big nursery, something like that, or or a nice big garden? Because I've heard the name before, but I'm not sure where to put it. Yeah, you will see, like within the next, you are really at the right time. Within the next few months in May, the flowering starts. Like we are starting with the flowering time now. And then the seedlings need to be on the side for a little bit. I will still water them in summer, but we're doing less live streams with the seedlings in summer and more with the flowering plants. Oh, okay, I see. I've heard something about that name. I'm not sure where. I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts. Maybe I've heard it before there. Okay, so these here corrected a few seedlings here and there. Always in between watering. I graft at the beginning of summer. I graft early, like I start to push the grafting stock a good month before I actually graft. 1 or 2 months before I actually graft. So I start watering in mid-March. I start watering mid-March, and then I do the first grafting maybe at the end of April or roughly May. And then I graft until the end of summer, like maybe July, late July. And then already we get that kind of a hit, like a humidity, extreme humidity that can really negatively affect the grafts. So I try to avoid that. So it depends on how much humidity you have. If you constantly have high humidity, might be good to wait. But if you're inside you can control the humidity a lot easier than outside. I usually, every time when I grafted late, I kind of felt like should have maybe waited another year, because that sometimes gives you much higher rates of success. Not always, but in general, I would try to graft in the season. Okay, so these need water. Yeah, and when the flower season works, like when the flower season happens now, I might do one seedling stream per week. We will see. But usually, like my normal day when I have flower season, I usually go out at 9 in the morning, and then the work starts. So we will see what we do. Thank you. This will be great. I'm looking forward to that. I'm just in the preparing work for the new season. I'm cleaning up now, making a little space where we can film, where I can live stream, and then it will start. Within the next couple of weeks, I will do the first live stream from outside. And the flower season is maybe until, I don't know, August, September. So there will be many flowers this year. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I've watered all the plants here. It's not easy to stay up with them. Like we're growing many different seedlings on the live stream. In the future, I will sow out less. I will not sow out so many anymore. And this time I really mean it. This time I really I don't want to do it anymore. At the most 20, 30 seeds per container. And if those don't come up, we can always throw in more. There are very rare cases when we need so many seedlings than we have now. I really like right now I see my future in video making. I have written books on cacti, and I still have some stock that I'm still shipping out on the website trichocereus.net. That's where I have the books, and I'm still selling off the rest of the stock, but long term I don't think I will continue doing books. It's just like being locked inside for 2 years to make a book's really hard. During the time when I made the books, I was so depressed all the time. And yeah, you are inside in summer, in winter, just writing or editing, you know. And I really enjoy what I do now. Like with the live stream, I can really use this reach that I have for good. I can, you know, it's always a positive kind of live stream. So that will long term be my goal, where I'm moving towards. And yeah, but I still have some books that I'm shipping out. I just had like a lot of orders recently after a post that I made. It kind of blew up recently, and I'm still packing. Okay, yeah, and look, having a nursery like this is really difficult. Like really surviving financially, making good money, and I'm just alone. I don't wanna have that huge business where I have to pay people. Everything that I do is really low budget. Like my whole organization, everything is relatively affordable. And yeah, that's the only way it works. Okay. Let's water them one last time. Yeah, and I believe like most of the seedlings that I've sprayed now, they will dry up until tomorrow. Yeah, that it's really difficult, like to really judge how many seedlings you need. Sometimes you have bad quality of seeds that have poor germination rate, and sometimes you have the containers that come out like this, you know. And when you have this, this is really difficult. This is a lot of work. So long term, I will not sow out more than 20 or 30 at the most. And that allows us to grow more different ones. I like that variety. I like when I have many different types of plants and not all the same. Okay. Here's a seedling that fell over. I just wanted to correct that. Need to spray them also again. In general, when I lost seedlings, it was usually because I didn't water them enough. So if you're in doubt if you're watering too much or not enough, I would always water more. Of course, you can still overwater them, but the likelihood that they need more water is just a little higher than that they are overwatered. People often underwater little seedlings. I know him. He's a friend of mine, and I've been buying seeds from him. Really good shop, and I really recommend them. Like they have a great selection. Sometimes with Thaiensis, hybrids with Thaiensis, interesting Sörensia hybrids. A really good shop. Yeah, I've known him for a long time. I've been very close with the Australian community, and yeah, that is one of the few shops where I still buy seeds. It just happens like every now and then, you know. I have so many seeds, but sometimes he makes some really good crosses. I hope things are all right for him. Like I said, it's becoming more difficult to have a nursery, to survive as a nursery. So I hope everything's all right for him. I haven't seen him in a while, like posting. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I love Australia. It was my scene where I kind of grew up in this community. So I will always hold it dearly. Maybe one day we're doing a metal detecting show in Australia. I would do that, you know. I always wanted to do a metal detecting show. Maybe we're doing it one day. If I can one day get a company to pay for the filming, we will do it. Okay. Yeah, I think this is great. think I will end the live stream now. Was a good one today, I would say. I really love it. Had a lot of fun today again. I consider it. I was invited a few times to EGA. Was invited a few times to speak at EGA, and I sent a few books like as a freebie to give away, you know, when they're doing their lottery or whatever they were doing. Yeah, I will do it. With the metal detecting, if the legal situation wouldn't be so difficult, I would have had a really good channel about that, you know. But it's a little, it really differs from state to state, and if you have a TV channel behind you that can, you know, they can help you with all the paperwork and that kind of stuff. Otherwise, I would have done that. I had a website about metal detecting, I think even before I had the Cactus website. Yeah, and in the past I had a XP Dios, a Garrett, and a Bliss tool. Bliss tool is the other detector that I've been using, and it's okay. All right. Yeah. I love today's live stream, guys. I like when the live stream isn't predictable, you know, when stuff happens that's not always the same. I enjoy that, and I hope you guys had fun today. I will be back tomorrow. Going offline now to see if Carmen needs something to eat. She's been, like, earlier, she's already complained. So I'll make sure that she gets her cat food now. Yeah, I'm not, at some point when I have, like, I will just continue to grow the live stream, continue to grow my channel. Eventually they will listen to that kind of stuff, and then, like, you know, right now I have like 5,000, almost 5,000 subscribers. If that has grown a little in the next 2 years or so, I'm sure that will go up like that. And then it will be a lot easier to do this kind of stuff, you know, when you have a big base of supporters. So yeah, have a nice day, guys. Have a nice Friday. Looking forward to the weekend, and I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we are continuing. Always happy to take questions if you want to know something. Yeah, and I'll be back tomorrow, same time, roughly 10 in the morning, Berlin time. So thank you, everyone. Have a nice weekend. Until tomorrow, guys. Thank you. You too. Take care. Enjoy the weekend.